Well, here we are. Welcome to the Joe Long Film Theatre here in Blackpool at North Pier, where I'm going to introduce a legend, a man who's made 30 DVDs in 30 years, 3 autobiographies. He's made 1 million people laugh, travelling 1 million miles for millions of pounds, and he's skint. The legend, the one and only, the king of British comedy, Mr. Roy Chubby Brown.
Before we go any further, can I just say something?
Yeah.
What a good job they've made of this theatre.
Isn't it beautiful?
It's fun. The Joe Long Film Theatre. And let me tell you something, I was delighted when I found out, because Joe was one of those remarkable artists that I've worked with over the years, and I don't want anybody to forget him. He had a God-given voice. Can I tell you when I first met him?
Go on.
It was in Hull. It was the Jackson's Bakery Club. It was a Sunday dinner time. I won't forget as long as I got a hold of my ass. I'll never forget, I walked in and this bloke's on stage. Blonde lad singing. Oh, I thought, what the fucking hell is that? It was unbelievable. And we've been friends for 40 years. And God, I miss him.
I know you do. We all miss Joe Longthorne, and we always will. And it'll never be the same without him. I remember what you said at his funeral. You might as well take that tower down now.
Yeah. You know, when you look at your life, and I mean, you know, my life's, I've had more ups and downs than Madonna's ass, you know. And I look at my life and I look at the people I've met over the years and the things I've done. It's been unbelievable.
Well, you've spent the last 3 months in lockdown entertaining millions of people, and the letters we've had of thanks have been amazing. The people you've kept going through all this dismay and horrible situation we've been in. And I've got to mention this because she'll kill me if I don't. Your missus didn't have to get some stick on them blogs. You've done 80 odd blogs and 20, and your missus don't have to get it. You call her dog's breath.
Do you know how I met her?
Helen.
Helen. You remember the name? I met her at Skegness. I was doing a show at Skegness. And my tour manager come in and said, there's a girl here who'd like to have a photograph taken with you. She walked out the door and, oh, the size of her fucking hands were massive. So we got talking, and she said, would you like a cup of tea? I said, I hid the kettle. I said, yes. She took me to a cafe across the road. She said, I'll get you a cup of tea and a scone. I said, a fucking what? I said, it's scone. She went, no, it's a scone. I said, darling, it's a fucking scone. And we've had that same argument for 25 years. But obviously I fell in love with her.
And where was she from?
Well, I went to Grimsby and I rubbed her name off all the gents' toilet walls straight away. She fucking killed me.
She will now. Nothing to do with me, that, Ellen, by the way. So, all right, the obvious questions are going to come. You've had a long career. You've entertained millions, as I said, for 50 years now as a solo act. Where's the funny bones come from? Where's your humour from?
Can I tell you another little story? You know when Lauren and Hardy came to Britain in 1953, they were doing a tour, and they ended up in Huddersfield, of all places, and in the hotel, and a journalist asked Stan Laurel the same question. What makes you so funny? He said, well, if we knew that, we'd bag it and sell it. But I think my humour came from my mother. You see, I'm going to tell you something now nobody knows. Oh. My mother walked out when she was 9, and I never saw her till I was 18, you know, and it's the longest game of fucking hide and seek I've ever had. And then when I was introduced to her, this is your mother, I thought she's black. No, joke. I thought, God, she's just like me, grossly overweight, and she's been hit in the fucking face with a Teflon pan. But we just hit it off straight away. She was just down to earth, and I had to get to know her again because you know that mother-son relationship you have.
Yeah.
We'd lost that, and I always remember I went round to the house one day. There was a knock on the door. I said, "Who's that?" She said, "How would I know? I'm fucking sat here." So I opened the door, and there was a woman there in an overall. She said, "Hello, I'm Brenda. I'm from the Home Help. I've come to bath your mother." Well, Mum had been ill all her life. She was an epileptic and that. Right. So I said, okay. Well, Mum was only sat behind the door. It was only 10 feet away. You could hear every word she said. I said, Ma'am, Brenda's here to bath you. I hope it's not that big fat lesbian. I had to apologise. I said, Ma'am, you can't say that. She went, you know me, son. I call a spade a spade. And I looked at this woman, and she was Asian.
Was she?
Spade a spade.
Oh, dear.
I said, Ma'am, you've got... She was that funny. She wasn't of the modern society, you know.
Yeah.
70-odd-year-old. I bought her a Christmas present. It was an answer phone. She said, what's that? I said, it's an answer phone. Fucking hell does that do? I said, you put your phone on it. I said, and when you're out, you put your voice on there. Well, what do you mean? I said, here, I pressed record and play. I went, hello there, hear me here. Please don't hang up. I'm sorry I can't be with you at the moment. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. She went, well, that's stupid, isn't it? So what's stupid about that? Well, they'll hear your voice and think you're in the house. I said, well, you'll have to do it. Well, how am I going? I said, I'll write it down. So I wrote it down, which took a while. I wrote it down. Hello, I'm Amy. Sorry I can't be with you at the moment, sir. I said, are you ready? Go on then. So I pressed. She went, hello, Barbara. Fucking Barbara. She went, well, she's the only one who rings me. I said, that's bollocks. I said, I ring you. She went, yeah, not very often. I said, no, because I'm always here. Any road, we had this thing where, you know, every 3 times a week I'd go to the cake shop. I'd get her a custard slice, elephant's foot. And this day it's pouring down with rain. So I rang her to say, when the rain stops, I'll go and get you your cakes. And the answer phone come on. Hello. Sorry I can't be with you. I wonder where she is. She doesn't go out on a Thursday. I got there at 1:30. I walked in. Her face is like thunder. I said, what's the matter with your face? There's nothing wrong with my face. I said, well, I've been your son for 50 years. I know when there's something wrong with your fucking face, missus. She said, all right, I'll tell you. You rang here an hour ago. I said, that's right. And I was in the kitchen putting the kettle on. And I shouted, hang on, I won't be a minute. And you put the phone in. She must have thought I could hear her through the speaker. Yeah. You know. Yeah. So that's where my humour come from, I think.
Amazing. Well, you've a lot of skills, and we've looked at everything, and we've done a bit of cheating, really, and something you don't know about. But there's a little bit of a clip here that says a little bit about another one of your talents. We'll have a look at this. So how did all that start?
Well, I was working down ICI with a welder, and I used to pick the rods up, and I was tapping, and the welder said to me, are you a drummer? I went, no. He said, well, you should be.
How old are you then?
Oh, about 16.
Right.
So I rang my father up, because by this time, my father had brought a barmaid home with 4 kids, and I fucked off.
Right.
And I was living in a fishing boat in Redcar, the seafront. Policeman caught me, took me to a house for wayward boys. But me and my dad were still friends. So I rang him. I said, would you buy me some drums, Dad? He said, do you think I shit money? Do you think there's a hole at the bottom of the garden? I keep me fucking change in. I said, well, I've just looked at the Gazette, Dad, and there's a kit of drums for 15 quid. So we went round to this bungalow, and he was a pensioner. And he'd been in the Salvation Army. And he had a massive bass drum with Jesus on the front, a picture of Jesus on the front. He had a little snare drum and a couple of sticks.
Right.
15 quid. So Dad bought them. Well, I was at home. And I used to go in a pub called the Salt Scar. Well, the Salt Scar, that was the station then.
Yeah.
And there was a piano player called Nancy Plinkett. And I said to her, would you mind if I brought me drums in and played alongside? She went, yeah, I'll get you a couple of pints and a couple of bars. Well, oh, thanks. So on the Friday night, I started. She'd play and I'd be, and it was great.
Good.
But one night there was a fight. About 16 lads battling. And they came towards the kit. And this lad put his foot straight through my bass drum. Well, Nancy, Nancy used to just sit there and drink pints of Guinness. She didn't know where she fucking was. She was farting all the time. I used to say, Nancy, for Christ's sake. And this particular night, what happened was we all got started. Oh, the police were called. Police dogs. And the next day I rang my dad. He said, what's wrong? I said, Dad, can you get me some more drums? Why is that? I said, Jesus has had his head kicked in.
You started in the working men's clubs as a solo act. You spent a lot of time in the band, I know that. And the family in the band, weren't they cousins?
Yeah, it was Derek and Lee. We were all Viz. There was 3 Vizes in the band.
Right.
And Tony was our first singer. He, unfortunately, he passed away. And they wanted to play jazz funk, and they wanted to do all this modern stuff. And I said, there's no money in it. I said, the money's in comedy. Right. You've got the Grumbleweeds, you've got the Black Abbots, you've got the Delmonts. They're all earning better money because they're doing
comedy groups.
Well, we are not doing comedy. I said, you should do comedy. Well, you fucking do it. So that's how it started.
And
so
you went solo?
Oh, yeah. Well, I said to Derek, look, there's 4 of us now. We took on another lad called George. And I said, he was a guitarist. I said, what we'll do is, we'll go around and we'll call ourselves a comedy group. Well, how are we going to do that? I said, well, instead of being called the 4-man band, let's call ourselves the Qs. And Dex said, why? I said, so when the concert chairman goes, here they are, the 4 Qs. He said, we won't get away with that. I said, we will. So we started doing the clubs. Hey, man. There was one night, Derek fancied this girl. He said, I'm picking 3 beds up tomorrow night, because it was his band, really. I said, oh, yeah. He said, we had a Thames 1500 wait. Anybody who knows these vans, the engine was in the middle between the steering wheel and the door.
Next to the seats?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So we picked these 3 girls up. So we'd had this thing together. No swearing, no spitting, no farting. Got 3 nice girls here.
Classy girls?
Yeah, classy. Let's just behave ourselves.
Right.
So we picked them up at 6 o'clock. After half an hour, we're driving along towards Sedgefield. Flames coming out the engine. So we all panicked. I said, quick, get the gear out. So
inside the car?
Inside the car.
The van.
So we jumped out the van, opened the door, got the drums out, got the guitars out, got the amps out, got the microphones out.
What about the girls?
Oh, fuck. we got the girls out. But the funny thing was, I said, we're going to have to put the fire out. We're going to have to piss on it. So, after having no swearing, no spitting, no bad language, there's 4 of us stood with our cocks in our hands trying to put the fire out. Anyway, we put the fire out. And we got into the van. Well, it stunk. Oh, it fucking stunk.
Of?
Piss.
Okay.
So we get to the club and we set the gear up. Now, picture the scene. We used to start off with a Tony Christie number. Sunrise. And I was Tony Christie, believe it or not. So I'd come on. Dun, 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 you know. But before we went on stage, we were all dead nervous. We were always a bag of nerves. We all had to go to the toilet. We all needed a number.
Okay.
Shite.
Yeah.
So this night, I goes on. And I goes on. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do. Our deck went, where's your sock? I said, there was no toilet paper. Well, we just burst out laughing. And we had to come off. Yeah. It was so funny.
That's hilarious. But I mean, it's the little things like that build you into. I mean, you learned so much in the group, and then you went solo.
Well, I started doing when I was with the trio on the duo.
Yeah.
The agent was ringing me and saying they need a comic. Can you do 2.5 hours? I said, I don't think I can do 2.5 hours, Brian. He said, I think you can. I said, no. I said, but I'll tell you what I can do. I'd already changed the words around to songs, because that's what I did. I used to mess about, you know. I once got a job on the market, and I was doing the same thing when I worked with Marty. I used to be standing on the market, and I made little poems up about the fruit, you know. I said, it's a wonderful thing as a strawberry. It's so round and so red and so thick. If you're out in the dark for a bit of a lie, you can hold one and think it's a 2 pound upon it. And Marty used to say, I don't know how you do it. I don't know how you do it. And I used to hold cucumbers up and go, funny crackers, funny crackers. And the women would go, what did you just say? I went, Granny's Packers. I said, my grandmother makes sandwiches with cucumber and she packs them. So we did all that.
Great.
So when I started doing the solo clubs, I had all this material. And I thought, well, actually what I'm going to do, I'm going to mime to Bernard Cribbins. There I was. Can you remember that one?
Yeah, digging a hole.
There I was, digging this hole. So what we did is, I got a flat cap and a bowler hat and a shovel. It was just a little plastic shovel. And I'd be miming. It wasn't even me. The music was playing and I'd go. One night this concert chairman come up and went, son, when you finish that hole, fuck off. I can't. There's no answer to that, is there?
But you've got to explain to the generation probably don't know that in the Working Men's Club, the concert secretary, 5 minutes into your act, could just go, right, get off, you're not getting paid.
Yeah, that's right. Him who must be a beard.
That was the guy, yeah, absolutely.
I
mean, stories from the clubs?
Oh, I've got 1,000. I hope you've got 4 hours.
Well, I've got a phone ringing.
Well, I got... Do you want to stop that?
Yeah. Whose idea was it to put my phone in my pocket? Who's on sound? So we're not recording. We're editing this bit
That's
out.
how much
Don't worry. You
fucking
can
debt
talk
he's
to me.
That's how much debt he's in. They will not fucking leave him alone. That's his gas bill that hasn't been paid.
It's your Helen, actually.
What a cunt.
So you've just done the Ayatollah, and we're into the stories in the clubs. I mean, the working men's clubs were ruled by, what a lot of people at home don't know is they were ruled by the concert secretary. You'd turn up to do a gig, and if if everybody else loved you and he didn't like you, you were out. You weren't getting paid. You know, you climb out the window before you did you did 3 spots at a time, didn't you?
You went to a working men's club. You had 12 men on the committee. That's what they used to be.
Right.
Half of them didn't want to be there, but they got 2 free pints and a couple of bob.
Right.
And this happened several times. I was at Stockton Boff's. Wilf was a compere. And I'm on with a guy called Johnny Roberts from Leeds. Because you know I've got a good memory.
Ventriloquist?
He came on.
I remember Johnny Roberts.
He came on with a dummy. But the dummy was aggressive. The dummy would say, what the fucking hell are you looking at? Why aren't you out selling pigs?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And there was a family, I didn't know these people were. I found out later. It's the Porritt family from Stockton. About 10 of them round the table. Hard cases. Nobody said out to the Porritts. This dummy's going, oh, you fucking looking at. And one of the Porritts, jumped up, punched the fucking dummy.
Hit the dummy, not the ventriloquist.
No, he hit the dummy. And his head come off, and Johnny Roberts went, and you thought I was fucking thick. He was talking to his fist. I had other incidents. I must tell you, this is my best one.
Oh.
It's a Sunday dinner time. I'm living in a flat above a hairdressing shop in Redcar. And in this shop, they did the old perms. Remember the old perms, the blue rinse?
Yeah, of course.
You know? And then perms stunk like eggy farts, didn't they?
Right.
My flat fucking reeked.
Of course, it's all going up, isn't it?
And I'm in this. I mean, the perms were that bad. You couldn't make a sandwich. The fucking bread turned up at the end. So I'm in my flat. Phone rang. Agent. Chubbs, can you do the TUC club? I said, I was there about 4 weeks ago. I said, they're trying to get their own back. Because I said, TUC, 10 useless cunts. He went, oh, did you? I went, yeah, it spread like wildfire. They've offered you an extra £5. I said, I'm in the van.
A lot of money, wasn't it?
Oh, it was a lot of money then.
Yeah.
Early 70s.
Yeah.
71, 72.
A lot of dough.
Got to the club. It's packed. 4 strippers on. Somebody called Enrico, which, if I said to you Enrico, you'd think tenor. I thought, Pavarotti.
Opera singer, yeah.
Oh, you know, I thought, it's definitely no chance. I'm stood at the bar with the agent. This guy walks in, he looks like one of the hairy bikers. Beard down here. He said, I thought, where's he from? He's from Glasgow.
Right.
He's from Nitsil in Glasgow. Right? He was a real rough bloke. He may as well have had a tattoo on his forehead. Woodpeckers will be prosecuted. He was so, you could tell, he was a bit of a lad.
Tough guy.
A tough guy. So we all congregated into the dressing room, and the concert chairman said, what we're going to do is, this is how the show's working. Girls, Babs, Joanne, you go on first. Enrico, you do half an hour. Chubby, an hour. Enrico, finish off with the girls. Fair enough. So we're in the dressing room, we're having a drink. We can hear them all outside screaming, and the girl comes, the stripper come off. What's the matter? They're putting the fucking fags out on me house. I thought, well, it's going to be one of them days, is it? So I'm sat there. Enrico goes on. You've got Gordon on the organ and Ted on the drums. Bum 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 bum. Now we didn't know that while we were in the dressing room, he'd gone out and give some of his props to the audience. He'd like say, he's the ace of hearts.
Oh, like the plants. Yeah.
When I asked for it. Right?
Yeah.
So we sat there, and I thought, I'll go and watch this bloke, see how good he is. So I'm stood at the side watching. Bum, 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 bum. He didn't come on with any finesse. He just come on, he went, get off, and he pointed to this bloke and went, has anybody got an apple? The bloke went, has anybody got an apple? He went, I've ate it. He said, you cunt, you've ate me 5. This was just the start.
He had a fiver in the apple.
Obviously, it was a trick he was going to do. Great. He said, anybody got a tomato? And this bloke shouted out, you know fucking well we haven't. You'd have got it 10 minutes ago. Well, I'm crying now. Yeah. You know, it's just so funny. And he did this act where he got this, I don't know, like methylated spirits. And he...
Oh, yeah.
And he...
Flame eating.
And he had some cotton wool on sticks. And he was...
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, to this day, he was definitely burning himself because I could smell singed hairs. I could smell it. And of course, the TUC club had a veranda.
Right.
And in the veranda, you had all these hairy-ass scaffolders with fucking noses over here. There's a guy at the top, and he went, oh! Jock! Give us a light. Well, by now, he's fucking fed up.
Right, he's had enough.
Nobody's clapping, nobody's laughing, nobody's laughing at his jokes. So he went... This flame, I'll tell you, was 30 fucking feet long. This bloke in the veranda went from albino to Al Johnson in about fucking 5 minutes. The smoke off the flame just made him black. And he was stood there, well, he got them then. Everybody thought it was great. Then he nearly burned some fucker to death.
Brilliant.
We were crying. In fact, I said to him in the dressing room, if you could bottle that act, you'd be a star. That was... Never seen that so funny in my life.
Amazing.
Just then. Fucking bang on the door. So he opens the door and there's 3 blokes there. I think they had 1 fucking tooth between them.
Right.
He said, Chubby, can I have a word with that bastard? So I've got my foot in the door.
Is this the one he's burnt?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Smoke's still coming off his fucking... his hair and his ears. Can I have a word? I said, hang on a minute. I've got my foot in the door. I said, quick, get out the back door. There's 3 killers here. They're going to sort you out. And he said, hey, let the cunts in. I said, oh, God, there's going to be a fight here, and I'm going to be in the fucking middle of it.
Right.
I said, hey, Chubby, we don't want any trouble with you. Just let them in. I said, oh. So I opened the door, and these 3 lads come in. But what we didn't know, in his second act, Normally, he works with a 30-foot python.
Right, Enrico.
And he took it out of its fucking box or whatever it was, put it round his neck, and he had hold of the snake's head like that. And the snake was... Have you ever seen anybody lose the bottle? This fucking potential hard case went, oh! Is that a snake? He went, yeah. A real fucker? He said, yeah. He said, well, this wasn't funny. Fucking ran out the dressing room. So I said to him, I've got to ask you, where was that snake? He said, in that basket. I said, you cunt, I've been sat in that basket for fucking half an hour.
I don't think people realise in them days how you took your life in your hands sometimes working in clubs like that.
Oh.
You know, sometimes you'd fall out with some of the punters and there'd be trouble afterwards, you know, and they were you know, waiting on you.
I was good friends with loads of comics who have since passed. Billy Kelly, Peter Mitchell, Bobby Knoxall. Bobby rang me one day, he said, you're on our local club. I said, oh yeah. He said, I've seen it in the paper. When I out the door, there's about 6 lads sat on the wall. And lad went, oh son, try getting home now, clever cunt. And I just walked past this van and I realised the van was on bricks. What the thought was, it was mine. It was the other acts. I walked up the street, got my car and drove on. And I was sat in the car going, ah, poor bastard, the other act's going to come out. Who was good and never had any trouble. Oh, and his fucking van's on bricks.
Them were the days, I bet you miss them.
I do miss them because we had that couldn't care less attitude then. Yes. You know, it was just them days when the money wasn't important.
Nobody had an agenda then, did they? Everybody was sort of, let's get on with it. You know, everybody.
Well,
had
of course, yeah.
No matter how bad things got.
You could say what you like.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I used to say to people when I was being interviewed by journalists, the Chinese call us whiteys, and the Jamaicans call us honkies, and nobody likes us. The Irish call us thick. Yeah, we just. But why are you laughing at each other? You're not fucking fighting.
Exactly right.
You know.
Exactly
when
right.
you see what's going on today, it's pathetic.
Bernard was a great mate of yours, talking about...
Bernard. Oh, well, you know when I first met Bernard?
Bernard Manning we're talking about.
Yeah, right? Bernard Manning. Yeah. It's about
not the turkey fella.
No, not the bloke who sells turkey, no. Bernard ate a few in his time. But it's about 1974, 75. I get sent to a nightclub in Stoke called Jolly's. A lot of people remember Jolly's.
Great club.
There's 6 strippers on, me and Bernard. I had to warm them up at 9 o'clock. Bernard come on at 11. And the strippers, and you know it's like when the strippers on.
Yeah.
They had mud wrestling. Well, I'd never seen that before. Right. And I did all right. I didn't pull any trees up, but I got loads of laughs, and you know. And when I come off, Bernard had arrived at the club. And he was stood near the dressing room. And he said, where are you from? I said, Middlesbrough. Remind me not to go on after you, he said. You're fucking funny, son. He called me his love child, and that stuck for years after that.
Well, you became great mates.
We became great mates. Yeah. That night, I was sat watching Bernard, and I was pissing myself laughing. And there was a guy, well, it was packed with blokes. There was a guy with a white shirt on. I said, strippers on stage were getting people up and doing all sorts. Vibrators and Vaseline and things you keep at home. So I said to this bloke, it's a fucking good job the police aren't here. He said, what you on about? They're all police. I went, what? He said, they're all coppers.
The police do.
You see the bloke who's on stage now with his knob out? It's our chief inspector.
Oh dear.
Hey, happy days.
Good days though.
Well, when Bernard passed away on the morning, I was at home. And he used to ring me. Say, what's the latest gag? What have you written? What have you said?
Yeah, yeah.
And I was at Tesco's. And when I come back, and I rang up, he died. So I got BT to put it on a CD, the message. And I've got that at home. That's my pride.
You kept that on you?
Kept it, yeah.
It's lovely, that. Lovely, lovely memories. Frank Carson.
Fucking Frank. Do you know, if you ever wanted to kill anybody, When I worked with Frank, it was
loved him, but he was
we're at the Stoneleigh nightclub in Porthcawl, and I didn't realise Frank doesn't sleep. He doesn't know how to sleep. Goes to bed 2, 3 in the morning, 5:30 next morning. Hey, the fuck. So I'm sharing the flat with him. And every morning, come on, Chubby, we're going for a while. I said, Frank, I'm sorry, but I'm halfway through a dream and I've got Elizabeth Taylor's knickers off. I can't go now. Come on, we're going. So we'd walk along the beach. On the 3rd day, because I was doing a full week, I thought, I'm going to have to get rid of this fucking bloke. I took his shoe in the toilet and I pissed in his shoe. And I thought, next morning he'll go, I can't put my fucking shoes on. 5:30. Frank said, did you leave the fucking window open last night? In his inevitable tone.
Yeah.
I said, the window open? You must have done. I said, I didn't. It's been raining, my fucking shoes are soaking. I said, I'm sorry, Frank. So obviously, he did. I didn't tell him. I did tell him, but I told him 10 years later.
You only one pair of shoes in them days, don't you?
When I worked at the Stoney nightclub, I always worked with big acts. There was like Carson, Les Dawson. I always remember Les. Les said to me, you know, mate, you are a fucking funny bloke. If you could just stop effing and jeffing, you'd become a big star. I said, you know, Les, I've left it too late, to be honest with you. And I was in the dressing room once, and I'd seen the posters, but I hadn't took a lot of notice. I was too busy thinking about what I was going to do. And this woman come in with the bags, and she put the bags down, she went, is this Tommy's dressing room? And I'd just been told by the bouncer on the door, Tommy Cooper's on tonight, 11 o'clock.
Wow.
Well, he was a hero to everybody.
Absolutely.
They used to say years ago, if you had Tommy Cooper's face, Bob Monkhouse's material, and you had Ken Dodd's timing, and Billy Connolly's likability, you'd be the greatest comic that ever lived.
Right.
So this woman comes in, and I thought she's taking the piss, and I went, ah! I was like, it was only his wife. She fucking talked just like him.
She had the same voice.
Yeah. And then, I think, because they had a different act every 2 or 3 nights, because the money was good.
Yeah.
One night they had Julie Rogers on. Julie Rogers, she had a hit with The Wedding, yeah.
Julie Rogers.
She's Welsh, I believe. It's packed, this place. Packed to the door. And they had a fucking car park attendant to. He limped. And he was, hey, don't be parking there. Move your car. Oh, don't believe it. Move your car. He was one of them.
Yeah.
He's in the car park, and he obviously liked the fag. And this night it's pouring down with rain. And the exit doors always had like a little lip above them, so the rain couldn't get on you.
Yeah.
Well, it's 11 o'clock. They introduced her. Dum, 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 dum. And she went to the microphone, she went, you by my side. You could hear a pin drop. Well, he must have leaned against the door. He fucking fell on the stage.
Fell into the club.
Fell into the club on the stage.
Brilliant.
And he jumped up, he went, carry on! She couldn't do anything for laughing.
Brilliant.
It was really funny.
Brilliant. Good days, but you travel everywhere. Where have you been? You've been to Australia, you've been all over the world?
Well, when I went to Australia, I'm doing the Birchwood Centre in Perth. There's 2,500 people in here.
Wow.
Britain's bluest comic I was billed as.
You were massive over there.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's still am now.
Yeah, still are, yeah.
So, and I'm at this Birchwood Centre. On the afternoon, this girl turned up. I can't even remember her name. Just say her name was Dolly Daydream. It was a quartet. She was a singer.
Right.
Ba 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 dee ba ba da ba.
Jazz quartet.
So, to be polite, to be friendly, I went into a dressing room and I said, hi, I'm Chubby Brown. And she went, oh, yes, we've heard such a lot about you. I said, have you worked with a blue comic before? She went, oh, we've been all over the world. Canada, Scandinavia. I said, all right. I said, the audience, you might find the audience a little bit rough because I don't pull any punches. She went, no, it doesn't bother us. We've worked everywhere. So it was 8 o'clock, the show was starting. Place is buzzing.
2,500 people.
Yeah, 2,500, buzzing.
All come to see Chubby.
And the music started, didn't it? You know. Da 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 da. It was like that Parkinson thing. You know?
Yeah.
Da 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 da. Curtains opened. And she walked to the mic and she went, "It gets too hungry for dinner at 8." And his voice went, "Shoes, you fucking fudge." Well, yeah, she fucking lost what she just lost it. She couldn't remember a word to the song. She must have sung the song 50 times. And the piano player looked at her and she went, and they got up and walked off the stage. Well, it's because it was my fault, wasn't it?
Of course, yeah.
"We'll never work with you again." I said, "Well, I did tell you. That happened to me at Savage, you know."
Oh,
You remember George Savage?
Yes, Savage at Usk.
Well, before
South Wales.
George opened that club at Usk, he had
Blazers
at Windsor.
Yeah.
And Bernard had been on. And George had said, "Do you know anybody else who does your type of act?" He said, "Oh, have you heard of a guy called Chubby Brown? He's from the northeast, Middlesbrough." And he said, "I'll give him a ring." So I got the phone call. Well, I was getting about £35, £50 a night. 150 quid. Fuck. I said, "I'll show me ass in Woolworth's fucking window for that." So I got down to Blazers. And he said, "I'm putting you on at 12 o'clock. I said, "George, do us a favour. Give us a chance.
Yeah.
12 o'clock's no good.
Yeah.
Put me on about 10:30.
Yeah.
He said, "Oh, all right then." Good job he did. But it doesn't matter, because when I went on 10:30, there was two or three tables here, and there must have been 30 blokes drinking champagne. They were celebrating. And there was about 50 empty bottles on the table. They wouldn't let the waitresses take the bottles back. So they're shouting at me, "Fuck off home, you Geordie bastard." Nice. And I'm saying, "Oh, that's very clever. Did your mother have any kids that fucking lived?" You know, and I'm giving them the answer back. And they named a town after you, fucking Leatherhead. And they're shouting at me, you know. So I did about 40 minutes. When I got back in the dressing room, George come in and went, "Oh, we're in the shit." I said, "We're in the shit?" "Yeah. Have you heard of the Cray twins?" I said, "Yeah. That's some of their lads, and one of them's in." "Have you heard of a bloke called Lenny McLean? Gypsy, bare knuckle."
Tough guy,
yeah. Did 15 years for beating somebody to death.
Yeah.
I went, "Did he? You've just told him he's got a face like a cow's cunt." I said, "Oh, have I? Where's the back door?" He said, "We haven't got one." I said, "Where do you fucking want one?" Later on, George opened his own club, and he rang me.
Usk, that was the one in Usk.
Usk.
Yeah, in South Wales.
He said, "Why don't you do our club?" He said, "Bernard's been here." So I said, "All right." It's all rugby players. They love you. They've always said, "Can you get Chubby Brown here? How much you want?" I said, "It's a question of, if they like me, I'll do it for fuck all." I said, I just want to do my job." He said, "Oh, they love you here." So I got down to Usk, and it was pouring down. I remember, because the road was flooded. And I had to help to push the bus with all these rugby players in, out of the water, to get the bus into the club car park. That's how I remember it. And George must have said to people, "Have you ever worked with Chubby before?" And his accent said, "Oh, yeah," because they wanted the work.
Right, of course.
Clive Webb.
You'd be doing a week there then,
Yeah.
would you? Yeah.
And Clive Webb, the
Mad Magician,
Mad
Clive.
Magician.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
remember
yeah.
Clive?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
He must have said to George, "Oh, I worked with Chubby before." Well, he hadn't.
He just wanted the work.
Yeah, I didn't know. I hadn't met him before. So the show starts, and Clive goes on. Then the music starts. Da-da, da-da, da-da. Clive goes on, and he's starting to do all his tricks with the cards and pulling flowers out and handkerchiefs out of his pocket, and everything's going well. And he pulled a big sword out and he went, "I want to introduce you to my assistant." Well, this girl walked on. She was absolutely stunning. Beautiful girl. Absolutely, like a Miss World. And he shouted, which he shouldn't have done, "What should I do with this sword?" And somebody shouted, "Shove it up a cunt." Well, the girl, I think she'd only been with him a few days. She thought Chubby was all fairies and flowers. Fucking Clive walked off. She walked off. I went on and did my hour and 20 minutes. And when I come off, I went to the bar with George, Rodney the compere, and I'm stood at the bar. And there's Clive.
In bits, yeah. Yeah, go on.
I said, "All right, Clive, I'll never fucking work with you again." I said, "It wasn't mine." I said, "Where's your assistant?" "She's fucked her up." And that would teach him.
Been chubby, yeah, chubby
Well,
audience.
The next day, George said to me, "Will you do a charity show?" I said, "Yeah, of course I will." He said, "It's for the blind and the deaf." He said, "We just raise money for." I said, "All right." I said, he said, "How much you want?" I said, "If it's for the blind and the deaf, I'll do it for nothing." So the Sunday dinner time, instead of travelling home to the northeast, I thought, well, I'll do half an hour for him, you know. Took all me filth. I thought just some silly daft gags.
Yeah.
And Rodders, the compere, you know, he was a bit, "Hello, everybody. Yoo-hoo." So he runs on to do his thing. And at the side of the stage, this woman got up and she went,
Signing.
sign language. Well, nobody had told Rodders. See? So he's, you know, the other day I was going down the road and, well, he got pissed off. Well, the show was me, a ventriloquist, and Peters and Lee. Remember Lenny Peters?
Yeah, of course, yeah, he's blind.
Blind, played the organ.
Yeah. Welcome home.
So we got back in the dressing room, and George come in. He said, "Oh, Rodders is playing fuck." I said, "What's the matter?" He said, "What's the use of me working here?" He said, "You've got a fucking audience there. They can't read the fucking ventriloquist lips." He said, "Half of the audience can't see the top act. The top act can't see the audience. And we've got another bloke who tells everybody to fuck off." Could you imagine how funny that was?
Oh, at the time, yeah, unbelievable. Good days. I'm amazed by your memory. And
Well, listen, let me tell you this. You know, I have two claims to fame. I'll tell you about the other one later.
go on.
But one of them was, I get a phone call, "Can you entertain the troops in Germany?"
Right.
I said, "Yes, of course I can." So I said, "How am I going to get there?" So Brian, my manager, said, "I'll take you in my car." I said, "Are you sure?" Because it was a shit tip. We only got on the fucking A1 for about half an hour and the second gear went. So every time we set off, I had to get out the car and push it. It went, but you had to push it. And I'd push start. So the time I got to Berlin, I was fucking like Steve. Yeah. We got to Berlin. We drove all the way. It took us about 7 hours when we got to Berlin. What a trouble getting on the ferry at where we went, because it was Zeebrugge. No, it wasn't. We went to Zeebrugge, but we left from Felixstowe.
Right.
And we had a bit of fun on the way. A couple of meals and all that. When we got there, I said, "It's a good job, this, Brian." He said, "You're going to get some good money here." I said, "Ooh." So we drive around Berlin. I said, "Do you know where we're going?" "Montgomery Barracks." Well, we couldn't fucking find it. We were riding around Berlin. It was like London.
Yeah.
We were riding around 3 hours. We couldn't find it. I said, "Brian," because every time I got out of the car, I said, "Excuse me, could you tell me where Montgomery? Weit Ulfrein ich meint all Seitenkraft and Ulfrein." Ask somebody else. "Oh, Vrosen, Ulfrein." I said, "Nobody speaks fucking English here."
You were in Germany.
Yeah, right in Berlin. So I said, we're best to go home. Oh, he said, "Do you know, talk about miracle. We turn the car around. We come to the first roundabout, and there was a big sign. Montgomery Barracks, 3 kilometres. I went, hey. So we got there. Funny thing, when we got there outside the barracks, there's a bloke stood in a fucking dog kennel. Just fucking rifle.
Sentry.
Yeah. I got out of the car and went, "Thank fuck for that." Somebody who speaks English, he went, "Vreisen Ulfein und Sportfrein." I went, "Oh, I don't fucking believe this, Brian." So what happened is, we meet the guy who's booked us. And I said, well, I was doing about 3 shows.
Right, yeah.
He said, "Tonight, we're picking you up by helicopter." I said, well, where am I going? He said, you're going to Spandau Prison. I said, the fucking Spandau Prison? This is round about 1969, 70.
Yeah, Spandau Prison.
So I said, all right, okay. So I got an helicopter. And have you been in one of them military helicopters? Got a glass front? Fucking shitting myself. You take off like that.
Yeah.
We arrived in this prison, and there's only about 16, 17 blokes. And we went in the bar, I'm talking to this lad, and I said, is there a big regiment here? He went, no, there's only about 16 of us. We change every 4 hours. He said, we've booked you because we've heard your tapes and your LPs, and we just want a really good laugh, you know.
18 people.
So I said, yeah. I said, what are you doing here then? He said, we're looking after Germany's most vile creature. I said, I thought Hitler was dead. He said, look out that window. So I looked out the window. The window was a bit high, to be honest. I always remember that. I'll never forget this as long as I live.
Right.
I stood on a chair and looked out the window. And there was this fella walking around the yard. Fucking dirty coat on, cigarette, like black hair, and smoking. And I said, who's that? He said, Rudolf Hess.
Wow.
I said, that's Rudolf Hess.
Wow.
He went, yeah. I said, well, I'll tell you what. He couldn't find a fucking way out of a paper bag. He said he's responsible for gassing about 7 million Jews, him.
Hitler's number 2, wasn't he?
Yeah. And I got the history of him then. I don't know, don't quote me on this, but I don't know whether, did he go to the Nuremberg trials and was he shot?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. And then he went over to America and joined the Untouchables.
What a bastard. But any road, that's what happened there.
Amazing, that's amazing.
But them little stories are always at the back of my mind.
And there's probably a million more.
Oh, the things I've done. What happens with me is, Tony, and I think you know this, I write every day. And I was talking to a psychologist once, and I said, how do you remember things? He said, repeat it to yourself. You repeat something to yourself 16 times, and some of it will register, some of it won't. I said, is that true? So what I did is I went home, and I got a pen, and I wrote down all the comedians that I'd met over the years, or I admired, or I'd had my photograph taken with. And I still do it today. So I put down Johnny Vegas, Bobby Ball, John Cleese is Awfully Tall, Billy Connolly, Peter Kay, Bennett Mann and Charlie Day, Eric Sykes, Ken Dodd, Joe Pascal, he's Silly Sod, Tom O'Connor, Timmy Vine, Freddie Starr, Tommy Cooper, Barrymore, Larry Grayson, Shut That Door, Brendan Callows, Mrs. Brown, Les Dawson, Coco the Clown, Dave Spikey, Eddie Large, Dame Edith Everarch, Harry Hill, Mickey Finn, Tarbuck, Spike Milligan, Rod Gilbert, Frankie Boyle, Eddie Izzard, David Royal, Davro, Roy Hood, Dawn French, Victoria Wood, Monkhouse, Ted Ray, Bill Bailey, Danny Kaye, McIntyre, Sean Locke, Paul Mann, Chrissy Rock, Ed Burns, Joe Brand, Jack Whitehall, Alan Rand, John Bishop, Jack D, Jasper Carrot, Sludge Lees, Lee Evans, Lee Mack, Frank Carson, loved his crack, Charlie Drake, Mr. Bean, Jim Davis, Norton Keane, Jethro, Mike Reed, Johnny Casson, the Grumbleweeds, Frank Skinner, Alan Pace, Paul Zinnemann from The Chase.
Wow.
And I can go on and I can go on. I don't want to waste it.
Amazing.
But I can do about 90 names.
Incredible.
I mean, it finishes off with Russell Howard, Russell Hound, Sarah Milligan still goes round, Jason Manford, Arthur Lowe, probably 4 to go, David Williams, Barry Cryer, Stephen Hunt, all think Chubby Brown's a cunt.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Well, that's great. We're going to take a break. We're going to bring back, we're going to show the people at home some unseen footage of you working at your best, never seen before, and then we're coming back with the man himself.
Thank you very much.
Roy Chubby Brown.
On this stage in 1973, I was on a share. Yeah, I was a woman. I was a clean comic then, yeah. She had to use the gents' toilet. That's why she opened up with, I'm walking in men's piss. Well, that's the last clean joke I'm telling, so you can fuck off. We're going to have a good time, aren't we? Yeah. I wanted a long time.
so don't get bored, I hope. Yeah, then I've just been sat reading the paper. Oh, the Partridge Family are upset, aren't they? Oh, David Cassidy. Didn't live as long as his fucking dad, did he? Hop along. Or his Uncle Butch. Said, well, he died with all the things around him that he loved. Bottle of whiskey, cocaine. Hey, we've lost some stars. Well, we've lost a lot of people. We lost Hugh Hefner. He's seen more cunts in the Houses of Parliament. They're making a movie about him, Die Hard 3. You'll get it when you get home, you thick twats. In Germany this morning, another tiger has eaten a zookeeper. They say they can't bury him till it's had a shit. Some young boy swallowed a load of Lego. He'll be shitting bricks now, won't he? Argentinian submarines got missing. 45 blokes, 1 woman. Who was fucking driving? She's in the paper this morning, Cheryl, with a new baby bear. Who calls a fucking kid bear? Does that mean she has to take it in the woods for a shit? Look to me, diary, it said Dagenham, and I've always done well here, and I came through the tunnel, just come to the roundabout, I went, oh look, saw a woman's body lying in an alleyway. I rang the police. Said, how did you find her, sir? I said, well, I think rigor mortis is set in because her ass and the fanny were dead tight. Fuck's a fuck. Oscar Victorious today got his sentence doubled, right? I mean, obviously that was going to happen. He didn't have a fucking leg to stand on. No knee-jerk reaction from him there. No, what makes me laugh? I think Christmas morning when Heather Mills gets up and goes, oh, not another fucking sock. Fucking world we live in now, eh? I don't know. Since you know, if I offend anybody in any shape, way, or form of my material, come and see me later on and I'll fucking offend you again. I live on one of them rough estates, you know what I mean? Oh, I think the Mexican cartel's moved in. You can get any fucking drug you want in our estate now. I was talking to a girl, yes, she was higher than a fucking giraffe on stilts. You see the 2 girls eating them kangaroo's testicles? Man, that was alright for the girls. They're used to having balls in the mouth. Have you noticed they don't ask him to go into the Bear Grylls? Because there'll be fuck all left to eat if he goes. I fucking love this room, but I've been in bigger women. We sat watching the telly there, the chase with Bradley Walsh. I'd have lost all the fucking money. He said, name a Chinese fruit that starts with G. I said, gok wang. I'm telling you last night. Welcome to... Yeah. Some pussy in this town, I mean, fucking hell. I'm not telling you. I went out there, it was a Tuesday, it was Halloween night. I knew it was Halloween night because I ordered a pint and I was local, there was no fucking head on it. I'd been in the house about 7:30, there was a knock on the door and I opened it, there was 3 kids stood there. Oh, the scariest fucking thing. When one of them said, we believe you're our dad. Fuck off. Did you get the paper this morning? In Australia now, you know, that it's legal for same-sex marriage, yeah? Men bastards. Bill Gardeners. Fudge packers. Ass bandits. The thing is, if them 2 fuckers weren't allowed to get married, they wouldn't have aimed to adopt that little girl that they've just battered to death. It fucking annoys me, the fucking cunts. I think you'll agree with me there. So, like Australia saying you can sleep with who you like now. A bit late for fucking Rolf Harris, isn't it? I've done it years ago. I'm always looking in the paper as well. Another woman poisoned her husband with antifreeze. Probably tried to get him going in the morning. Still on about the Queen hiding the money. How can the Queen hide the fucking money? A photograph's on every fucking pound note. And have you seen the fucking house she lives in? It's like a palace. Fucking world we live in now, eh? I mean, Prince Philip there, he retired in World 96. Lazy cunt. I'm trying to lose weight. You know, my wife put me on that fucking Slimmers World. No bread, no chips, no cakes, no biscuits. You know what's going to say on my gravestone? This man died of fuck all. Yeah, I had to explain to my wife that comic relief isn't wanking off a clown. You see, watching the TV and they said, welcome to Nigeria. This is Mabutu la Tutu la la Fakatutu. I'm not fucking laughing. Mabutu la Tutu has a hump on his back, one arm, one leg. And the leg he has got no toes on it. Mabutu la Tutu la Tutu has to get up every morning at 5:30 and pedal 10 miles on his bicycle. His bicycle has one pedal. No tyres and doesn't have a bell. Has to pedal over ploughed fields. But for £2 a month, we'll send you the DVD. It's fucking hilarious. You know, that was in the paper yesterday. Peter Sutcliffe, the Yorkshire Ripper, is laying in the guitar. Who gives a flying fuck? What's he gonna sing? If I had a hammer, I've got you under the bin. I've left some parts behind the bike shed. I'm a good dad. No, what women do find this hard to believe, but I was an ugly baby. The incubator had to have fucking tinted windows. My mum and dad give me alphabet soup. I look in the dishes spelled fuck off. I had to make my own way home from the fucking maternity hospital. I was 16 pound 8 ounces, girls. In fact, when the doctor delivered me, he left his head there. He thought there was a train coming. I was that fucking fat. I was standing room only in my playpen. Yeah. Not the best fucking baby in the world, and I had a family obviously, and my father, tight as a fucking duck's ass, my father. I always remember him saying, thank fuck Christmas only comes round every 5 years. One day I said, how do you turn this electric bread knife off? He said, grab the blade, you little cunt. Yes, when I was born, my mother had her feet in the stirrups. And all the nurses were throwing fucking money in, making a wish. They had to shave her fanny because it was like the welcome mat at the fucking garden centre. The woman in the next bed, her husband was the manager of Burger King. He took one look at my fucking mother and he named a burger after her. The Whopper. You will look at girls, but you are fucking funny. Have you ever looked at a fucking fanny, a ball fanny? Does it look like a Cornish pasty? These women don't mind you licking their fannies, but they won't tell you where they've hid the kip up with them. I don't get a lot of pussy. I get a little bit now and again. Well, Blackpool, I've been in Blackpool since 1985. Fucking hell. If you can't get a fuck there, you're an ugly bastard. Still there now. You haven't seen the fucking size of it now, God. Getting between the legs is like having a threesome. It takes 3 of us to fucking cuddle her. She said, I'm going out with the girls on Friday night. I said, well, wear your high heel shoes. I don't want your ass and tits scraping along the flanks. She has a horse tattooed on her hip. It's 18 fucking hands out. She said, I can't help it if I retain water. I said, you retain fucking cakes. She was restless in bed night before last. She must have left some biscuits in the plate. She makes me really laugh. fat bastard she is. So, I'd sooner fuck her than challenge you to a game of tug of war. Even with the days of the 40s. See, a lot of young ones now don't realise how hard it was. My mum and dad used to get my clothes from the Army and Navy stores. I went to school dressed as fucking Arthur Law. I love you people here, you know, you've trained. I've been on here at least 10 minutes now, I haven't been stabbed once. There's time, yeah, you fat cunt. Zip love. Oh, I fucked a few monsters around here. She's in. Mouth and Fanny, same size. Yeah. I just can't get a fucking note around with me. I mean, in the past, don't forget me, when I first met my wife, I remember her saying to me, "You're 1 in a million." I thought, how much cock was she at? A bit of porn, you know, that's why my phone bill is £800. Well, around this land, the girl fucking stood. Yeah. By the time she told me what to do, my wrist had fell asleep. The wife's having a bit of women's trouble, you know what I mean? Can't reverse the car, doesn't know the offside rule. You know what it's like when you're married. I've had 4 wives, that's why I've got a fucking pot to piss in. It's a fucking thing I've got now. Oh. I'm trying to get her to join Islam, you know, so she can hide her fucking face. He's in the chart at the moment, rag and bone man. Fucking liar, he's not a proper rag and bone man. Couldn't get rid of a fucking fridge off our lawn. I walked in the house and the dog jumped up, you know, it's my dog. He was licking my face and kissing me. I went, could you put a good. She went, oh, for fuck's sake. The fuck you doing? She's probably been pissing up some empty crates at the back of the pub, licking and stiffing some bitch's ass. I said, I love him. She said, I'm talking to the fucking dog.
Yeah.
Right, so give us a cue then. And
Pussy.
So, by the way, I think you've got more makeup on than me.
Do I detect a little bit of jealousy there?
Oh, hang on, they're here now. I've got a surprise for you. Hang on, no, yeah, come here. Suzanne.
Oh, fucking hell.
Suzanne, here she is, and Maz. This is Suzanne and her partner Maz. Have a look at this. It's been made, Suzanne's made this out of, they're called diamonds, aren't they?
Resin diamonds, yeah.
Right.
Now, are you sure that's not just a photo?
Look at that, that's fantastic. And Suzanne, how long did it take you?
134 hours.
How the hell did you do that? It's amazing. You know, I just tell a few jokes. If I could do that.
Isn't it? Fabulous. But you read what it says on the back. To Roy, a.k.a. Roy Chubby Brown. As a fan, I wanted to show my appreciation. A total of 76,800 resin diamonds were used to make this. And still not enough for each time to represent every time you made me laugh. On behalf of all the fans, thank you for everything you do. You are a diamond. Much love, Suzanne Hardy.
Well, I'll tell you what,
that is absolutely...
Thank you.
I get very emotional when it's, you know, I've never met 2 gold diggers before. But diamonds? Where do you get fucking diamonds? 7,000 diamonds! I'm wearing it on my fucking wrist.
Thank you so much, Suzanne. That's so lovely. Thank you.
I can't thank you enough. That's
Isn't that lovely?
absolutely superb.
Fantastic.
God, that's absolutely wonderful.
All right, well, we've got a show to make, so get this crap off the stage now. Go on. All right, thank you, ladies. Thank you. Isn't that lovely? Like, surprise. What do you think?
I don't know what to say. I just don't know what to say.
No, I'm delighted. She took so many hours in that. I wonder what prison she was in.
Holloway?
Yeah, Holloway's the ladies' prison.
Yeah, I was in there.
Were you?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. And I bet you used to play with the Harvey Benson band as well, didn't you?
One at a time. It's a good guy.
We've just had 15 minutes of genius from the legend, and he's back in his suit. Would you please welcome the king of British comedy, Mr. Roy Chubby Brown? You all right?
Are you?
I'm all right, mate. Yeah, absolutely fine. Just give you a little bit of a rest after that exertion. We've got some questions from the fans, and they've sent along some questions for you to answer.
One of them's not my wife saying, where is he?
No, it's not. It's I promise you it's not Helen saying, where is she? The last thing she said to me had nothing to do with where is he, as you well know. Anyway, he's here, and we've got some questions. We're going to come up on the screen here, which should be quite interesting.
Well, a quick question for you, Roy, mate. After 50 years on stage, what is your favourite venue or theatre or town that you personally love playing in?
I have to say, to be fair, any theatre I go to that's packed, I enjoy.
Yeah.
Because, you know, you can travel for miles, come to a theatre and do 2 nights. First night, shite. Second night, standing ovation. You can't tell. It depends on what side of the bed the fucking people get out of.
So it doesn't matter where you are.
Oh, it doesn't matter. No,
Yeah,
it's just a
it's
wonderful...
the night that counts,
yeah,
isn't
it's a fantastic time. When that audience are packed at the door and they're laughing, that's all I care about.
Yeah. And you're packing a lot to the door lately.
Yes, I must owe a lot of people money.
And your next question, please.
The question I would like to ask you, Roy, would you ever consider making a second movie like UFO? UFO was my all-time favourite of yours, and I'd love to see you in a second movie.
Well, the answer to that question is yes. It's got nothing to do with me. If people like it, they like it. If they don't, they don't. Now, we made UFO because the people who were making the film had spare money.
Right.
It's all about finances. And once you take somebody's life story and you use them, what else is there to do unless you write a story? I always remember they rang me and said, we've written this story for you, Chubbs, and blue, you're going to say this, and you're going to say blue, and you're going to say... I said, hang on a minute. Do you people down south think blue's funny? It's not funny unless there's something else with it. You know, you just can't stand there going F and F and F and F and F and F, and it doesn't make any sense. They said, well, look, we've asked around, and the only person that knows what you think's funny is you.
Correct.
So I was travelling up and down 50,000 miles a year, and every time I got to a hotel, I'd get my pen and paper out, and I'd write down things that, because I'm hard to please, as you know, and I'd write down things that I thought was funny. With a combination of what I thought was funny and what they thought was funny, we managed to make UFO.
So, weren't the real aliens then?
No, one of them was, and I married her.
Trigger was in that, wasn't he?
Oh,
From Only Fools and Horses.
he was a funny bloke, yeah.
Nice man.
A brilliant actor.
Right.
He didn't have to say anything, he just looked.
Yeah.
And the whole time we were making the film, I was in the dressing room next door to him, and there was a funny smell coming from that dressing room. I fucking loved him. He was, over the years, we've lost some characters, haven't we?
Yeah, he's gone, hasn't he? What a shame. What a lovely man and all. Anyway, moving on, Dave.
Dave.
My question to you is related to the doodles. I'm wondering what it was that actually got you to start doodling at the shows.
That's Lucas, isn't it?
Lucas, listen, mate, I'm going to tell you what happened. I mean, I was always good at school at drawing. I wasn't good at anything else, but I was drawing cartoons, Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck and things like that. And I always did that. And about 3 years ago, I'm in the dressing room and somebody asked me for an autograph. And I drew a cartoon. And my tour manager, Richie, said, did you just do that? I said, he said, well, why don't you do that? And, you're trying to raise money for your charities.
Yeah.
Why don't you draw some cartoons, and then on a night we'll say, the money that you paid for this, we'll give to your charities, which was children born with cancer, Macmillan's Nurses, End of Life, and because if you can't take on too many charities, you get smothered with it. So we picked 3 or 4, and to be honest, the cartoons are probably, please correct me if I'm wrong, we've made around about £27,000 for
At
those,
least, yeah.
just with the drawings.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's why I do it.
you auction one after every show. And, of course, you've done the book of cartoons as well.
Yeah,
it's proceeds of that go to your charities.
It makes you feel good that you're doing something.
Yeah, but you've done it for years and you've kept quiet about it, because I remember you always said to me, don't shout about doing charity. I said, you do when people are knocking you.
Yeah. Yeah, when somebody calls you to come
Exactly. Yeah. But in this situation, I mean, this show tonight, look, you know, it's all about frontline heroes. We're raising money. Frontline heroes, the James Cook Hospital, you know, you look after.
You know what people normally ask me, where's this come from? Well, let me tell you.
Go on.
First of all, I wear the glasses because of my sex life. The pepper spray was stinging my eyes. My suit, I'll tell you what my suit's all about. People kept saying, will you do a video for our wedding? Will you do this? Will you do that? And I used to say, oh, fuck's sake. So I had the suit made and they stopped asking me. But I was doing, you know when you talk about gigs?
Yeah.
You see what I look like. You know, if this isn't a comic, what is? I got to a club one night and the concert chairman, who must be a beard again.
Absolutely.
He said, can I help you? I said, yes, I'm Chubby. Dave, he's here. This club's packed to the fucking door.
Great.
I said, what's happening? Am I on with one of the big acts? Ronnie Jukes, Ricky Lee, the Hollies, Jerry and the Pacemakers, who am I on with? Because, you know,
absolutely, it's easy,
packing clubs.
Yeah.
He said, who are you? I said, Chubby. I thought you were black, Mr. Checker. I said, excuse me, you're expecting Chubby Checker, were you? For 15 fucking quid.
Oh, dear.
You know what I mean?
But that's the way it was. That's the way they were.
Well, you know. 15
quid for Chubby Checker. He's probably on $5,000 a night at the time.
He must be a beard.
Absolutely.
I went to one club on a dinner time. I know I keep on about clubs. I know sometimes you get sick of it, but
best stories.
I'm doing Easington Lane Wakeman's Club, and I am dying a death. You can hear the hairs on the back of your neck fucking growing. So he turned the fucking microphone off, and I said, I don't need a microphone.
Right, okay, you're staying on.
You remember the curtains?
Yeah, they shut the curtains on.
Shut the curtains. And I jumped in from the curtains. I went, you nearly got me there. Suddenly he opens the door. 2 fucking big Alsatian dogs. I went,
shut the dogs on you?
Yeah. I said, hey, I can take a hint.
Jeez.
But, you know, all them little things.
They help you grow, don't they?
Well, you can look back at it now, you know. Like when the concert champ said, who told you were funny? I said, my mother likes you. Well, let your fucking mother pay you. I said, my mother's a pensioner.
Got another question here.
Hi, Roy. Have you got a favourite meal you like to eat before the show?
Pussy. I don't eat before I go on show, I'll tell you why, because I'm fucking bloated most of the time, but I do love fish and chips, and I love bacon and new potatoes and things like that. But I don't eat before. That's where the problem with your weight comes in. You know, I eat after the show, which you shouldn't do, you know.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and thank you for asking that question, but as I say, I'm not a pig.
I'm going to take you to Liverpool.
Liverpool?
We're not getting in a car. I want to take you to Liverpool because the first thing you learn about Liverpool is how smart the Scousers are, and the sense of humour is amazing.
Hey, let me tell you this. All the comedians used to meet at the Stockton Fiesta at the bar. Most of them now have passed, I'm sorry to say. But one night I'm stood there and Johnny Hammond said, are you working this week, Chubbs? I said, I'm at Liverpool. Don't go to Liverpool. Why? Because they're all fucking funnier than you. I said, he said, they're all comics, they're dry as sticks. And I didn't realise what he meant until I got in my van. I go to Liverpool, 2 hours later, I'm going through a place called Walton.
Right.
I know that I'd had a reflector broke at the back of the van.
Your backlight?
So I called in a shop and I got one of them red, you know them Roses chocolates?
Yeah.
They had a red paper and you used to look through the paper. So I sellotaped over the light. So I'm going through Walton. Fucking police car behind us. The copper come round. He said, is this your van, sir? I said, yes. And you're admitting it? I said, yes. You're showing the white light at the back? I said, oh. Toffee paper's probably come off. toffee paper. Is that the middle of the steering wheel? Is that the horn? And he pressed it. I said, it must have just gone off, officer. He said, oh, what did you do when you come to that corner then? Did you shout, fucking boo? He was so funny.
Sharp.
He said, how long that tyre been on there? Because when you passed me, I got fucking 20 lashes. I got half an hour's material off this.
Absolutely, yeah.
course when I got there. I'd always done 2 clubs in Liverpool. One was in Scotty Road. It's called the Rendezvous. I remember getting there one night and the doorman's there, and the doorman's got no nose. No, he's obviously a fucking killer.
Yeah.
I went, hi. I said, I'm Chubby Brown. He went, yeah. I said, yeah. I said, how'd you get your gear in? You come in the front door. I thought, bah, he looks a fucking hard man. I said, do you have any trouble in this club? He said, no. Because if I don't fucking knock him out with that, George shoots him. And then I used to do another club called the She Club.
The She Club, I remember.
People in
it.
Liverpool who are listening to this will remember the She Club.
Great club, yeah.
I gets there's a fight outside, and there's about 20 blokes fighting. And I've got table tennis bat, fishing rod, dustbin, plastic dog.
The props.
All my props. And I'm trying to get those. Excuse me, can I get through? Because I'm fucking head's going in for. Suddenly, this fucking hand went on my throat. I went, ah! It was one of the bouncers. Oh, you, I said, the act. You fucking threw me through the door. That's the first time I've been thrown in a nightclub. But you know why I loved Liverpool? Let me tell you this story. I met John Lennon.
Wow.
It was June 1963. The Beatles had come to the Astoria in Middlesbrough.
Right.
And I was a member of the boys' club. We used to play basketball, play football, did a bit of boxing, a bit of weightlifting. And I was a big lad. There was 3 or 4 of us, big lads. And the guy who took us for karate, he said, I need 3 volunteers for Sunday. There's a big concert on at the Astoria. Bassett, Parfitt, Vasey. Do you want a job? I said, where is it? 5. Oh, fucking 5.
A lot of money then,
Jeez,
wasn't it?
deposited an house where I fucking lived. So I said, well, how do we get there? He said, I'll pick you up in the car. So when we got to the Astoria, he said, right, you front door, you box up. Roy, back door. So I'm at the back door. I'm clueless. I'm stood at the back door. He said, don't let anybody in and don't let anybody out. Single decker fucking bus pulled up. The windows dark now. It's about 10 to 4 that afternoon. And these lads got off. There was about 9 or 10 of them. All looked the same to me. You remember when you were young and you couldn't afford a haircut and your mum put a pudding basin on your fucking head and shaved round this, yeah. And they've all got black hair. And this lad said, excuse me, la. Well, that's fucking, what's this on about? He said, hey, where do you get a fucking cup of tea here? I said, well, to be honest, I've got a hair here and I'm making tea for everybody. Would you like a cup of tea? Yeah, well, I'm a fucking cup of tea, like. I made him a cup of tea and I made a couple of others a cup of tea. I said, you take sugar? And that's what my job. And one of them said, where do we get something to eat? I said, well, across the crossings there's a cafe we call Black Betts. On the right-hand side, there's a jukebox in there. I said, all the latest songs on there. Rolling Stones, Beatles. You know, you don't think, do you? But why I remember this story is because what happened is when they went on stage, I'm looking up on the stage, I don't even think they were top of the bill, to be honest with you. I think Marty Wilde and the Wildcats and the Big Three and Jerry and the Pacemakers, I think...
They'd have been pre-booked at that, wouldn't they?
Yeah, they were just, even though they had hits, Please, Please Me and From Me to You. And I looked at this guy and he's singing away, twist and shout. And I thought, that's that bloke I've just made a fucking cup of tea. It was only John Lennon.
Wow.
So that's my claim to fame.
Wow.
In fact, I got so involved with John Lennon. He drew cartoons like I do. And I bought 2 of his drawings.
Right.
And I've got them at home. Cost a lot of money, but I've got them on my wall at home.
Fabulous.
And when he was shot, I flew to New York. And I stood in the place where he was shot.
Wonderful. A lot of respect for John Lennon. You love the Beatles, though. I mean, the Beatles' music was a big part of music and a big part of your life then, wasn't it? You know.
When you like somebody, you like them, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I kept getting sent to Liverpool, and I started to do the Empire Theatre, which is when it opened your eyes, you know. Because I remember one time I went there and I said, these dressing rooms are nice. Have you just had them decorated? They said, yeah, because Cilla Black was on. And when she found out you'd been, she wanted the fucking she wanted the decorator. I said, cheeky bitch. Yeah. You know, they think I'm some kind of disease. Playing the piano till I was 35. Is when I had a second-hand shop. But that's a long story. You don't hear that.
Same thing you self-taught, aren't you?
Yeah, I got this piano, and I'd be going, do, 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 do. And I spent hours and hours. And I bought a book, because I loved the Beatles.
Yeah.
I bought a book called Beatles Complete. And I was looking at the book, and I kept turning the pages over. And each song, the title, I thought, hey, this could be a story. Hey, what a good idea. Why don't I put a story together? So I'm on the Empire in about 3 weeks' time. Why don't I put a story together about the Beatles songs? So this is what I did. I wrote them all down. Some kind of chronological order, you know, you do. And I thought, I'm writing all down there. And I thought, that could mean that could mean that. And this is what I come up with. And you know, I actually got a standing ovation that lasted 15 minutes. It wasn't expected. It wasn't something you think ever going to happen to you. But when I was on the microphone, I said, I was in the Adelphi the other night, which is the big hotel a couple of doors off. I said, I was talking to a girl, and she said, what do you do? I said, I'm a comedian, but I said, I used to play the drums. I said, yeah, I played the drums with the band for 20 years. Oh, man, kind of stuff did you do? Oh, I said, we used to do the Beatles. She said, which ones? To impress her, when? Michelle, imagine if yesterday I was a fool on a hill or a real nowhere man, lived in Yellow Submarine in Penny Lane. I can't buy me love. I picture myself on a boat on a river on a good day, sunshine with lovely Rita maid. She'd be a day tripper, I'd be a paperback writer. Listen, do you want to know a secret? I once had a girl, or should I say she once had me. She was just 17, a lady, but on her 8 days a week, but she could carry that weight. They said you'd lose that girl, but she was good to me, you know. I felt fine like Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds on the Magical Mystery Tour. See, if I fell under bang, 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 Maxwell Silver Hammer was buried in Strawberry Fields forever, would you help Eleanor Rigby to pick up the rice in the church where the wedding is paid? Would my baby be in black, or would you just get up and dance to a song that was a hit before your mother was born? No, you'd get by with a little help. Help from your friends, no reply. Yeah, we'll get back to the USSR where there's a revolution. See, I'm not a loser. I know a place along the long and winding road. It's an octopus's garden. You've a ticket to ride with the taxman saying, please, please me, wrapped up in chains, getting a taste of honey. He'd be fixing a hole to stop his man from wandering. You come together because you've been treating me bad. I'd be happy just to dance with you. So tell me why, Dr. Roberts. Tell me what you see as my guitar gently weeps. It won't be long run for your life. You can't do that. I'll twist and shout things we said to did. Miss Dizzy, Miss Missy, mean Mr. Mustard. But she is a woman and I love her. How could she laugh when she knows I'm down? Hey, June, it's been a hard day's night. Will you still need me? Will you still need me when I'm 64? You say yes. I say no. You say I don't know. Take all my love. Here, there, everywhere. Don't hide your love away. It's getting better all the time to get into my life for the benefit of Mr. Kite. Because I just seen the face on the tip of my tongue. Obla-dee, obla-da, let it be out. I want to be your man. I should have known better with a girl like you working out. Honey pie, drive my car, give peace a chance. Don't write the Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band in Norwegian. There follow the sun from across the universe. Through the bathroom window, black man, with love from me to you. And by the way, didn't get a fuck.
That is absolutely stunning.
Thank you.
Amazing. Did you write that yesterday?
Yeah, it took me 10 minutes. Fuck off.
Unbelievable, mate. Unbelievable. I cannot believe that you can still remember it.
When you write something yourself, which is what I do, I write all the time. Like today, we've had things in the paper today. I just look. I think, oh, can we clap for Vera Lynn? But we don't know where, don't know when.
Very nice.
If you don't think that's funny, you can fuck off.
I think it's funny, but I'm expecting you to be funny all the time. I know how much work you put into everything. I've seen how much time you put into it.
Another story today. Woman loses tortoise. Was found 10 fucking mile away. Must have had a bike. It's my mind.
Yeah,
it's just the way my mind works.
Yeah. But it never stops. And what you did, the essence of it all, sort of came to in the middle of lockdown. I remember you ringing me up. You said, I think I've done something a bit special here. And you wrote a song. And the song, this particular song, has been viewed by 3 million people on Facebook. I knew when you rang me up, you said, I think I've written something a bit different. And you played it, and it was amazing. And we've had so many requests from people to play it at funerals and, you know, to remember the loved ones that have gone in the terrible pandemic we've just had. And it's touched so many people's hearts. It's just amazing. Where did that come from? What brought that? What inspired you to do that?
I think we're all the same. We're just normal people who live an everyday life. But I think I've got somebody inside of me who's creative and keeps saying, go on, you can do it, go on, you can do it. Now, normally, any songwriter will tell you it takes 2 or 3 weeks. It's like a layers of a cake. It's like watching the Great British Bake Off. You're making a cake. Songs are the same. Melodies, tunes, riffs, runs, words. That particular song took me 2 hours. 2 hours. I was watching the news. They were showing Rolling Stones, Michael Bublé, Elton John, all doing these iconic songs, Lady Gaga. And I thought, yes, they are iconic songs, yeah. And then they do, they have lots of meanings. Lots of meanings. You could relate the song to what was going on.
Yeah.
But nobody actually mentioned that people were dying every day.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And nobody mentioned the fact that we weren't allowed to go anywhere near the bodies. And we...
couldn't have a proper funeral.
Yeah, things like that. And I went sat on the piano. I started playing. I got my melody off. I went to my desk. I wrote the words. Come back to my piano. And I swear down, in 2 hours, the whole thing was finished. And the recognition I've had for it, and the pats on the back, just unbelievable.
I've had thousands and thousands of messages. And it's something that's iconic. It's become a major part of what's gone on. We can't follow it. You know we can't follow it. So I'm going to thank you for what you've done tonight. It's been magnificent.